Number 4 is invest in yourself. Don't just invest in learning from those mentors and investors, but take the time to self-develop.
I regret that we didn't go to more seminars early on. We self-educated through books and podcasts, and we could have gotten to our goals so much faster if we had spent the $500-$600 per class in our network to go learn these things.
We had a bad impression of seminars. We identified early on the gurus, and we're very skeptical, and we're very afraid of getting the wrong information and then getting into a bad situation. So we were hyper skeptical.
Yeah, I think not just that. We got it stuck in a scarcity mindset. Like we were hesitant to, that's $600. I could fix, 2 toilets, maybe 3 toilets, the money was so tight for us back then. I mean, $600 for one of us to attend a class. So, and then you count in airfare and all the other things, it adds up quick. But the money that we earned by spending that money saved us thousands. It's kind of hard to put into numbers what it could have saved us had we gone to some of these classes early on. I mean, we picked a strategy for acquiring our rentals that fit the market at the time, but had we taken a different approach, we could be double the size we are now if we had listened to some of our mentors. And well, if we had attended more mentors classes, I guess is the way I would put it.
And had we listened to this podcast that we're recording right now, back in the winter of 2018 or 17, the winter of 2017, we'd be double, maybe triple the size we are now. It's all about taking action. You got to take that massive imperfect action. And that is number 5.
Well, real quick, I want to just say, you totally can listen to free podcasts, and you can read books and go spend maybe $100 a year in books and go to your library and do this on the cheap. Or you can take I always use Candyland as an example because that's what I played as a kid. Eric likes Chutes and Ladders, but there's a shortcut route to getting there faster. And it's through
that is the seminars,
courses, and coaching. And I wish we had spent more on courses and signed up for that mastermind sooner. Our first seminar was the cruise, and that's when our real estate career really took off. Mm-hmm. And I wish we had spent some of that money sooner. And that cruise was not cheap. I mean, we spent a lot of money on it, but it was the most impactful thing that we did education-wise in our business.
Yeah. And that's when our network exploded. That is when our massive mind shift change occurred. Meeting people from all over the country doing the same things we were doing. We were a medium-sized fish in a medium-sized pond in our investor circle. When we went on this cruise, we realized how small of a fish we are in a massive ocean. And it just put everything into perspective.
Yeah. I mean, and we met people that we would have never had the opportunity to meet. And, Jim Rohn, you are the average of the 5 people you're around. We were the top of our 5 people we were around. And going on that cruise led us to making relationships with people that are better than us. And it changed everything. So I don't know. I just think going to seminars and networking, and not just doing Zoom seminars, but being face-to-face with people, is how you get to that next level.
But number 5 is take massive imperfect action. So taking massive action is easy to identify, go do the thing. But what do we mean by imperfect action? I mean, stop waiting to have all of your ducks in a row before pulling the trigger. You're going to learn so much by just pulling that trigger and taking that action. Now, I'm not saying to go pull the trigger on something that could bankrupt your family or make a decision that is going to completely change the course of your life in a negative way. Do all of your homework going into it, but don't sit there and play the what if game with yourself. Don't get into analysis paralysis. Go take action and make it huge action. And don't be afraid to mess up. because when you do, and you will, you're going to mess up in some way. We all do. Make sure you understand that when you fail, it's not that you have failed and you are now a failure. It's that you have failed forward, and you have taken what you've learned in the sense of it on the road seminar, essentially in the streets. What is it? KIU? Yeah, the Streets University.
Yeah.
You've gotten yourself a seminar through that imperfect part of your action, but don't be afraid to take that action.
Yeah, we had a friend who just took down his first deal, and we're super excited for him and his wife. They are doing it together. And I told him, this deal is not going to make you a millionaire, but it's also not going to break you. And when you're buying single family houses, now, if you're buying $1 million apartment complexes, yeah, that deal could make you a millionaire or break you. But if you're starting in single family 1 to 4 unit houses, you're not going to make $1 million off of it, but you're also you're not going to lose $1 million or bankrupt your family. You're taking small action, and it's just taking that first step is hard, but it leads to momentum. And I remember we finished our first house on, I don't remember what we called it in the podcast year, the Django Blocks house, I think maybe.
That's right.
We finished working on this house, working all summer long, and we're like, dang, and we're making $200 a month, like killing it.
It was so depressing. It was such a letdown.
Yeah, but you think about where that house is now, and we rent it by the room, and it's doing fantastic, and it's a little more headache than I think either of us would like. So eventually a property manager
makes over $1,000 a month.
Over $2,000 a month, dear.
Well, that's still more than 1,000.
Yeah, I guess so. But just saying, like, it with rent growth, and now we've changed its strategies on it, and it's doing really well for us. So that one house, I mean, you think your first house that you bought and you lived in, I never lived there, but I think I spent our second date there. That was so fun. Helping you patch drywall. Find a winner, ladies. Find a winner.
Find you a lady that will be willing to do drywall.
Yes, on your second date. But that house is making a very good amount of money now because you bought it in 2016 and rents have gone up. So real estate is not a get rich quick scheme. So go into it for the long term, which I guess goes into our next point of have a clear plan and vision. You can't grow a business if you don't know where you're going. And you don't know, do I need to buy a house this month or not? Like, I feel like when you have clear plans and a motivation for where you're going, you'll get there. If you stop having goals, I mean, I think you and I have kind of coasted for the last couple of years because we've had kids, and that's a valid reason to take the foot off the gas. But now we have more intention and vision and plans, and I think our business is going to grow significantly. So just having that clear plan.
That's it. Say no more.